Nerds and geeks back at it again. You know we had to do it. We could not delay it. We had to come together for this fantastic review of the MCU's latest release, all puns intended, Fantastic Four: First Steps. I have often said that when the MCU gets a hold of a character or characters that have failed on their own from their other properties, they do it right. Case in point with Spider-Man, the Hulk, so forth and so on. The Fantastic Four have had 4 bites at the apple. All right, this is a lot. Way back in the day, they did one that was campy. It was for television. Yeah. Then they did 2, courtesy of our brother Tim Story. And Tim is a die-hard nerd. I mean, Tim Story, he would live at Golden Apple. He was excited to do this. But I remember Tim saying, man, I gave it all I could in every step of the way through both iterations of my Fantastic Four. The studio was right there over my shoulder saying, nope, don't do that. Do this, do that, do this. Blah, 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 blah. They micromanaged his film to the point where he was like, all right, cool. I'll just direct what it is you want me to direct. And we got the 2 Fantastic Fours with Jessica Alba, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, which Christopher Evans Chris Evans, that was a great Johnny Storm, but the film suffered. You know, the introduction of the Silver Surfer with Fishburne as the voice, that was great. The Silver Surfer was great, but the film suffered because overall they were just not good. They just weren't good films. And then I don't even know if it's worth mentioning the led film from Josh. No, we don't even have to mention it because, God, that version of the Fantastic Four was absolutely horrible. So when the MCU gets a hold of the Fantastic Four and they say, we're going to do this movie, but we're not going to do it in the main MCU universe. We're going to do a stylized version of this film, and it's going to be separate and distinct and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people were worried. They were like, oh, no, what is about to happen? I personally am happy to say that what happened is we were treated to a world that we have never seen before once again. The MCU has a bar that they set for introducing us to new worlds, and they took it to another level. This Fantastic Four was absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Loved it from beginning to end, the heart of the story, the action, the drama, everything that went into this film, it makes it a perfect MCU film by all accounts. And to many, even the fair weather MCU fans are all saying the MCU is back. Oh, the MCU is back. All right. Now, going down the line, I think that this is one of those reviews where everyone generally has the exact same feeling. Ryan McBain has a few questions and qualms over it, and that's fine because it is worth questioning certain things in the film. But as we go down the line, I want to start with Dr. Liz. Dr. Liz from the Freeway. How you doing today?
I'm okay.
You are okay, sister.
You okay there?
Now, look, sis, we are sending a lot of love to you. We appreciate you being here today. All things considered, we are lifting you up. That is a fact. All right. So we appreciate you being here and lending your 2 cents to this. And I would love to know what you thought about Fantastic Four: First Steps.
I really, really enjoyed it. From beginning to end, I actually enjoyed the beginning some of the most, simply because I like the fact that they're not going to give us a backstory, and they did a nice little overlay that actually made me feel like it was like a TV like a TV video, kind of an advertisement, so that and then it rolled it into kind of they're on the TV, that they were coming back, or either coming back or some like little TV bit. So it made it feel very, very present. But then it also made me, in the age of talk shows, of where talk shows were extremely important, but it also made me feel like, you know, which I know this is intentional, which decade am I thinking of? Because
Mm.
part of this is dated, some of it is in future. And for all of us, I know we all watched the Jetsons. So then it kind of made you feel the Jetsony feel, which
Yeah.
I absolutely enjoyed. I think the funniest part for me was when they all tried to get their baby seat in. And I
Because
laughed.
we've all been there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and, and the irony is that I
Ugh.
was the dudes. My husband was the one who read the directions and knew how to put the baby seat in. And I was like, we're gonna figure it out. So I thought that was really, really funny. I thought it was very enjoyable. I plan on seeing it again. And I
Okay.
know that Tom was showing all of the gear except his major one, the big reveal.
Hey now.
I loved the robot. I mean, I have it. And the thing
You
that
got the
is
Herbie?
yes,
From
and the
movie
thing
theater?
that is so cool about the Herbie is that it has the 4 in the like
It projects the 4 logo.
4.
Wow.
And it plays the Fantastic Four theme song.
Right, and it projects it far enough so that if I turn the lights off, it will show on the wall.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
And then the head comes off, so it's a drink. And then on the back end is the popcorn hole. On the front end is the snack hole. So you can literally hide all kind of snacks and drinks all in this Herbie. I thought this was top tier.
Oh, okay. Now I'm gonna go back because I went to see it yesterday at AMC, and they had a bunch of they were literally bringing Herbies out and putting them on the sofa, like grabbing them. So and when I was like, oh, should I get one? I'm like, nah, because I was gonna wait and go over to Regal to get the Fantastic Car because I just found out that the Fantastic Car is scale to the Marvel Legends Fantastic Four First Step figures, which I have all of those. And so I was like, it's in scale to the MCU figures. I'm getting that. Like, that's a wrap. But I found I talked to folks at the AMC. They're like, ooh, nah, man, you have to go over to Regal for that. I was like, okay, bet. I will go and get that from Regal. But the Herbie, I was like, but it's right there and it's in front of me. No. Dope.
Yeah, I will say the Herbie is a great piece of swag. It is completely non-functional as a receptacle for popcorn. You will be scratching the shit out of your knuckles trying to grab popcorn out that thing because I can show you right here. This is the back.
Yeah, but you can hide red vines in it, and that's just what my son is.
That's fine. I can't hide my hand in it, so that's the problem.
So you have to have very narrow hands if you want the popcorn out of there.
And this drink will hold about 20 ounces maybe, but it's got the electronics in it. And so I wouldn't want any spillage or anything like that.
You got to turn it.
Yeah, you got to turn it. Yeah, no, it's a thing.
The top is the top at the top of it where you put the drink in. You got to turn that.
Yeah,
the blue part.
They gave me an extra cup, and I used the cup.
Okay.
Here's the twisty top. Here it is. I'm twisting it now. No, I am trying to sip a drink out this thing. It was nice. I went at 9:30 in the morning on Tuesday, and I bought the Herbie. I bought the 4 cups because each of the cups is unique. The Johnny Storm cup and the Sue cups actually light up.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa.
And the Mr. Fantastic cup actually kind of has a rubberized texture, which is cool. And the Thing cup is just hard plastic. It doesn't have like anything like that. But I said I had to have those, and then I bought 2 of the metallic popcorn tins because that was the only way to get the Galactus minifig and the Silver Surfer minifig.
Got you. Okay.
I am ashamed to say, of course, I got the Galactus head. Okay. I am ashamed to say $300.51.
Oh God.
That's what I spent.
Hey, no, Tom. Look, Tom, I'm 100% with you. I know that price tag is a lot, but damn it.
But wait a second.
This is some of the best swag we've seen.
They
were selling the shit at Comic-Con.
Yeah, but it does come with a large popcorn. So like the Herbie is like 76 or whatever.
Yeah, $74.99, and you get the drink,
the large popcorn,
and the popcorn, which is $27 in value, and you get the candy, which is like $5.99 or something like that. So looking at it that way, you know, technically I only spent $200.
Right.
I'm glad you did it, Tom.
I put all of that stuff in the trunk of my car, and then when I came back, I talked because there was the AMC employee Juju. She's a sister, and I told Juju in the morning. I said, "Listen, Juju, I done spent $220. I'm coming back to get my Galactus head." And I said, "I'm looking at you. I'm gonna get my Galactus head, right?" And she laughed. I had to come back at 12:30 because the manager said we weren't going to be selling it until 1:15, and I knew that was a lie. So I came back at 12:45, and when I got there, there were 7 people in line, and I knew they had 12 Galactus heads. So my temperature and my blood pressure cooled down right away. So I said, I'm going to get the Galactus head. That's not a problem. You had to have a ticket to the 2:00 show to get a Galactus head. They set up an entire... You can't just go in
and buy...
Oh, no.
You have to have a ticket.
No. The manager said, we want this for people who are coming to see the movies. We're not giving this to somebody who's just going to turn around and sell it on eBay. Now, some people probably did turn around and sell it on eBay, but there was a guy in line in front of me, and when the manager came out and said, you need to show us your ticket in order to make the purchase, he had to walk over to the kiosk. He didn't even have the AMC app. By the way, if you don't have the AMC app and you're going to an AMC movie theater, you're whack.
You're tripping.
Get your life together. It's a free app, and you earn free stuff. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And also, if you're not A-list, I mean, I don't even know if you can't even call yourself a movie fan if AMC is your theater and you don't have A-list. What's the point? You're paying too much money to see movies.
We all get in.
You go and see one movie, and the app is paid for.
We all gave into this because when I told Tom the price of the Galactus head the first time, he said "fuck all the way off." But then we all gave in. I gave in.
Listen, I knew I was getting. I'm not even going to front. First of all, hold on.
Tom hooked me up.
Oh, snap.
Look. Well, I did not realize how big it was until I saw it in person.
That's what she said.
And then when you put,
and then you put the dollar for a goddamn action figure. I want to be put out for a fucking Galactus head.
No, but I'm saying like you put the popcorn, the large popcorn, inside of the head, and it sits perfectly fine.
No, absolutely no. I wasn't going to sully my.
You don't want no oil in that.
Exactly.
No,
you don't need a separate bucket.
I know, but I'm saying I saw people who were putting the bucket itself on top of the head, and it fits perfectly.
I wouldn't do that either. No
chicanery and foolishness. No, that's absolute insanity.
Not
necessary.
You're literally devaluing the collectible. Once you put really anything in it, it's not a collectible anymore. You might as well throw that shit away.
Also, you have to assemble it. It comes in bubble wrap.
Oh,
so
word?
It's not like they just pass out the assembled head to you. They sell you the head, and then you have to put it together. So if you're blocking a line to do all that foolishness, get out of my way. You're not A-list. Move.
Okay. I heard that. All right.
Get the heads. So my whole thing is that in for a penny, in for a pound, I went in to see the movie having seen the movie. And so I knew I was going to enjoy it. And so it was an easy decision for me to go on ahead and go in. I bought the Brave New World Cup and the Captain America Shield bucket. So for damn sure, I was going to get this. And I have to say, I consider it well worth it. Dovetailing off of what Dr. Liz said, I put it in the top 3 of introductory movies to the MCU.
Okay.
Behind
Amongst
Black
what?
Panther and
Okay.
Iron Man. Black Panther,
Okay.
Iron Man, Fantastic Four. They did an absolutely incredible job of redeeming these characters, presenting them in a way that feels true to the comic book, but also updated in a smart way so that you're not dealing with the fact that, you know, the original Reed Richards was basically Jeffrey Epstein, and you take that off the table by making Sue Storm a mature woman. Johnny Storm is not just a girl crazy goof, and Ben Grimm isn't a dumb Brooklyn thug. So
And he's not depressed, right? As the thing.
A little bit.
Well, no, he had his melancholy moments, which I did not mind because everybody had their own little side quest in terms of character development. And this is one of the things I really appreciate about this movie, more so than some of the other movies in the MCU, which ended up being a bit overstuffed. It was the Fantastic Four, and it was the Four. You didn't even have a real villain until the last 30 minutes of the movie. So you got to spend time with Reed and Sue. And in addition to the fact that they got their powers 4 years ago, they've been trying to have a baby for 2 years. And so there was already a little bit of tension, and just their first interaction when they find out that Sue is pregnant just tells you so much about who they are as characters. And then Ben is walking through the streets, and Natasha Lyonne, who is not Alicia Masters, is his little, love interest, and she's doing her thing. And he's walking through the old neighborhood, getting his black and white cookies, and really checking in on Natasha Lyonne. You find that out relatively quickly because he makes 2 other visits to see her.
Right.
And I just really, and then of course Johnny Storm and his infatuation with Shala Ball. I thought all of it. Sue Storm is absolutely the anchor of this movie, and she does an incredible job. She's an ambassador to the world. She brokers peace with Subterranea. She's the person who turns the world back on their side after they're feeling real salty that they didn't give up their baby. It was that speech that she gave where she basically turned the whole world back with the Fantastic Four again was amazing. That single line, I will not give up my child for this world, but I will not abandon this world for my child. It was killer.
Yeah, that gave goosebumps. That was definitely goosebumps.
She knocked it out the park. And I actually saw a dude talking about they nerfed Sue Storm. Sue Storm pushed Galactus 6 goddamn city blocks. What the fuck are you talking
Ain't no
about?
fucking nerf. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Whooped ass. It was the first Sue Storm that didn't have a nosebleed from moving a butterfly.
Right.
Kiss my ass.
She handled Surfer as well. Like when she was having contractions.
In space, while she was having contractions. Listen,
she had a baby, a whole baby.
She had a baby in space. Remember when you had encyclopedias and we watched the Encyclopedia Britannica? He had a report through about space. She had a baby in space in light speed. She had a wormhole baby.
She kicked her pants off and was like,
talking about?
Go. Yeah. She was a G throughout the film. I love the fact that not just did they not nerf her powers, but they did not nerf her because she was a woman and make her secondary or needy to Reed. And I think that that's something that they did with the other films is they really made her like that weak, woman, how you used to see back in the days with cartoons where it's always they get a headache and pass out real quickly, or like you said, get the nosebleed. No, she was about it the whole time.
Full disclosure, Twala. I went to high school with the screenwriter of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
Really?
I actually did the cover art for his first script for
You're lying.
No, I'm not. His name is Craig Nevius. We went to high school.
Snap.
And so he's been sending in our high school chat, he's been sending, like, there was, I think Variety, somebody did an article about how the original cast of his movie finally felt redeemed because they were lied to. Roger Corman only did that movie as a token to one of his friends who wanted to hold on to the rights. And if they hadn't produced the movie and released it the year it was released, the rights would have reverted. So he made this movie. He didn't really intend it to be released. He intended it for it to be shot, so it fulfilled the contractual obligation. But the cast didn't know. The cast just thought they were doing kind of like a campy Batman 67 kind of movie. They didn't know that it wasn't ever really intended to be released. And so they felt, because they all have cameos in this new one. They didn't have cameos in the story films. And of course, who would have wanted to be in the Josh Trank one? But they have 2 cameos. So 2 of them are newscasters and 2 of them are construction workers. And then all 4 of them together are in the Thank You Fantastic Four sequence where all the people are doing it. All 4 of them are together in a little red circle.
That is amazing.
And Craig went to go see this movie and today actually, and he did really enjoy it. So full circle moment for me, doing the cover art to that original Fantastic Four script, to seeing this Fantastic Four, the first fully realized Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And
Tom, that is bravo.
That's pretty cool. That is
bravo.
That's pretty cool.
McBain, before we get to you, because I can't wait to see how your and I know you dug it, but I'm just curious to hear your critiques and see how they align with some of the other critiques that I've heard, even from people who love it. Mo Kelly in the building.
Hey.
I know for a fact that you loved it, but tell me how so.
I loved it for its attention to detail. Dr. Liz was talking about this retro futuristic landscape and color palette that they use. It didn't look like Earth 616. It didn't look like our world. And I appreciate the subtlety. I did appreciate them as far as the retro, going back and grabbing like the old ABC logo. For someone who worked in media, that's going to jump out at me. I loved how they did Pan Am. That's an homage to the 1960s of America. Those are the things that now it confuses me. It's like, does evolution and paternity work the same regardless of what Earth you're on? You know, because you have the same people in the different Earths and the different universes. So that means the parents all get together no matter what happens. Tony Stark becomes Tony Stark because, you know, Howard and whatever.
I think in a manner of speaking, from what we've seen, if you may have a Tony Stark on that world, but like how we saw that world's Tony Stark could be, you know, a bus driver.
No, I know, but I'm saying, I guess the same parents still came together to make Tony Stark, and they named him Tony Stark. He may have done some other things. What my point is, Earth 828 still happened to create ABC, still happened to create Pan Am, which is familiar in our world. It's not a critique. I'm just saying it just makes you wonder. Joseph Quinn,
those are Nexus events. Those are events that have to happen, even if it's in a different iteration. Life almost evolves the same. It's just that you may not have it be the exact same. But I did what you're saying. But I think there was an explanation of there being Nexus events that are things that happen no matter what.
And that was established in Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse was the first movie that really brought that to the fore. And although it's not technically an MCU movie, I'm willing to go with that, because in all of the Earths of the multiple, you know, like when you're dealing with Crisis on Infinite Earths and blah, 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 the superheroes were the superheroes. And they had mostly the same names and da, 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 da. So I don't know.
But this is
a good point.
Loki.
Huh?
Mo's point, really Loki. Season 2 of Loki, right? I mean,
could be.
And
He's the master god of stories.
A couple of points, and I'll turn back the mic over. Joseph Quinn, throughout the movie, and I've seen him in Stranger Things, so he was acting differently. He was giving me young Robert Downey Jr. vibes.
He looked way too much like him. It was distracting.
It looked like him, mannerisms like him. If he showed up in Avengers Doomsday playing a variant of Tony Stark, I would buy it. I would not even question it.
You know, he looked exactly like Robert Downey Jr. in the Ark simulation.
Yes,
when he did
I mean, he looked and it was until you said it, I was like, why does he look so freaky? I was like, are his eyes too big? What am I like freaking out about. And then you said he looks like RDJ, and now I can't unsee it. Every time I see him, I'm like, ew, like ew. His blonde hair doesn't look right either, which doesn't help.
Mo, I have a question because I don't watch Stranger Things. Is it like do you think that it's the hair, the way that the eyebrows were managed, like the makeup?
You mean in this movie versus Stranger Things? Well, in Stranger Things, he had like an 80s rocker wig on.
And he also was not a scumbag, but he was a really almost supposedly a detested character. He wasn't really a love character till the end when he made this major sacrifice. And became like everyone's favorite. But he was like a skeevy kind of dude in Stranger Things.
I'm saying a look of him in this movie, because is it the blonde? Is it the hair? Because I'm trying to figure out what made him
his face, his eyes, his mannerisms, his jocularity. He was the lighthearted one who would find a little bit of humor when it was serious, but it didn't disrupt the tone. Hold on one second, Dr. Liz. And one thing I really, really loved about this movie was they gave us great drama, not just the end, but in the middle when they first met Galactus. It's like, shit, it's going down. When they were going back to the ship and they're saying, Johnny, you're going to have to kill your girlfriend and everything. For her to say that, yes, people have died in MCU, but they don't say go kill.
Right.
That was a very serious thing that was said. That was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because you were threatening her baby. She wasn't trying to have that shit.
And that goes back to the tonality. That goes back to tonality. Why I like this movie. You can have your humor, but it wasn't disruptive. It didn't seem out of place as opposed to Superman. It's like, hey, none of these motherfuckers are going to save a squirrel. They were about the mission of saving the earth, and they caught hell for not giving up their child. So the tone was still always serious throughout.
I mean, but I think that tone is an issue that you've had throughout the MCU. It has nothing to do with Superman. It has to do with you and tone and movies, period. When movies are supposed to be serious, especially within the MCU, which is set a certain tone, when you get to those films or those stories that buck the tone and go for humor where you feel it shouldn't be, that I know is something that instantaneously takes you out. It's like, if you're not going to be serious, I'm not going to be serious. So I dig that. I think that this is why I think the Fantastic Four is a return to, I'll say, for me at least, to the Civil War level of storytelling, or not Civil War, the Winter Soldier level of storytelling, where you have a movie that is the same from beginning to end, the quality, the tone, the excitement, the filmmaking, everything about this film. It took me back to the way I felt about Captain America Winter Soldier, where I'm like, from beginning to end, I was like, oh, this film is doing it on all levels. And while there are so many MCU films that I love, not all of them are consistent as far as giving it to me on all levels. They have maybe a great resolve, or I love the character throughout, but maybe the film may suffer here and there. But this is a return to like, no, we took our time with this film, and you can see it. McBain, last but never least, my brother. First, let me know what you thought about it, and then I'm curious to hear your critiques, man.
Just small critiques, but I like this movie. I mean, make no mistake, this was some good shit. The casting and the chemistry of the Fantastic Four was great. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like Pedro Pascal. I wasn't sure yet because we already saw Reed Richards in Doctor Strange 2, and I really thought that John Krasinski looked like Reed Richards. He may very well look more like Reed Richards, but Pedro Pascal actually played Reed Richards better. He is socially awkward in this movie and in real life, by the way. If you've been watching like the press clippings and just I'll leave that one alone. But yeah, he won me over. So yeah, he is Mr. Fantastic. I love the Thing and how he had no problem teasing Johnny and Reed Richards. That was funny. Some of the one-liners here and there. I didn't think I would like Mole Man, but he had the best line of the whole fucking movie.
Butter me
That
up.
shit had me. Not even that. He said, "Hey, Johnny, don't get mad at me. I'm not the one who dressed you." That shit had me laughing my ass off.
Hey Ryan, do you think Sue Storm, Mole Man hit Sue Storm? I think he did.
He was flirting with her, yeah. This back and forth.
Tom,
I don't think. I know he
Okay,
wants to.
I will just say this. My understanding of the timeline, because in the comic books, Sue and Reed were married when the Mole Man was a thing. And the Mole Man looks like the Mole Man. And Reed has the ability to do certain things with his anatomy that I know the Mole Man would do. So I'm just going to go on and say the Mole Man is not Namor.
Okay.
I do want to shout out, while we're talking, I want to shout out the chat. The chat is super big. Super shout out to Barack Rocky Giles, who has been commenting quite a bit. And we've also got some people who are making some side comments that are even more risque than what I just alluded to. But we want to thank you, everybody who is on. We've got a bunch of viewers in the chat, and we love your comments, and we appreciate it. He says about Comic-Con that something was going on. This was the very first year where I heard no one talking about going or watching or checking the blogs and vlogs for any news. It actually snuck up on me. And interestingly enough, Feige did not put Marvel in San Diego Comic-Con this year. He did his own little press release, and that kind of, I think, ginned up some hype about just the up at the then time upcoming Fantastic Four, and also about some stuff that was going to be happening in the next couple of movies. He brought Blade back on the table, which was good news to me. He basically reaffirmed that the costumes from Sinners basically went from pre-production for Blade to Sinners, because there was the idea that Blade was going to be set as a period piece. I don't know how I feel about that, just because Blade is not that old a character. He was not started in the 30s as a vampire. He was definitely more a product of a more modern time. And so I'm kind of glad they're stepping away from that. But the thing that most excites me about where we are right now in the MCU, coming off of two underperforming films, like Ryan, I actually enjoy Brave New World. I like Thunderbolts a bit less, but I liked the personal drama of Thunderbolts. I just didn't think there was enough of a movie around it. I probably would have enjoyed it as a series. It probably would have been a very good Disney Plus series, actually. But I don't know if Sebastian Stan is too hot right now, and they couldn't afford to keep him, for a multi-episode arc. But that said, thank you, chat. And I see that there's a question about the artwork I had. I did a 3D logo of the Fantastic Four logo. I do have some other things that I've done, but most of that is either for clients or for my frat. And so I don't know that it would be of interest to the general population. But thank you for asking, because I sure do appreciate it. And Robcat says, no pearls clutch for Sue Storm. And I would say, yes, no pearls were clutched, although Ryan may have a different take on that.
Robcat asked the question, do they take Klarna? I don't know if they take Klarna, but that's a good question. I think that you can for the buckets.
Yeah, for the bucket. And it's an additional $20 in shipping. So you out a whole C note.
It is $106 if you buy it online. So I advise you may not want to do Klarna because you're going to end up having to pay an additional $20.
Real quick.
I'm sorry.
Real quick.
Yeah, no, Big Bang. Yes.
Yeah.
The critiques.
Galactus, real world threat. Amazing. Fantastic, so to speak. When you're bringing in new characters, don't tell me why the character is powerful. Show me. And Sue Storm fucking showed me, especially at the end. Some people might bitch and moan, oh, how can she push over, do all that shit against Galactus? She's fighting for her fucking child. Fuck off.
That's it,
dude.
He was a mama.
It was a mama moment, dude.
Yeah,
and also she quote unquote died. So yeah.
Her
life was at stakes. Yeah,
and a mother will die for her child.
A mother will die for her child.
When she told Reed, and he was like, "No, Sue, no," and she's like, "Go get my baby."
Yeah, exactly. I ate that shit up. That shit was delicious. Perfect. Now,
no, that was amazing.
Here comes some of my critiques. Don't bite my head off.
Oh shit.
As you all know, I did not like the female Silver Surfer. I didn't think there was a reason for it. I thought they did it just to do it. Just my opinion. Didn't ruin the movie for me, but I was just like, I want to see the more popular version of the character. But whatever. Didn't kill the movie for me.
Which you probably will.
Will what?
Because it's not the 616 Surfer.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully,
No,
hopefully.
And also,
they said that in the beginning that we will see Norrin Rad.
Okay.
Well, and this is my point. The movie doesn't exist in isolation of scenes. The movie has a script. And if you take away the interaction between Johnny Storm, who is a known womanizer, and just turn it into a male character, you don't give Johnny something to do without Johnny being gay, which also would have offended the whole
Tom,
but I disagree with that because Johnny still had his say. He still did some important shit. He deciphered the language. He made Silver Surfer feel guilty.
He deciphered the language because he was interested in the silver titty chick.
Okay,
he literally came back and called her
but see, once again, I disagree because this whole movie is about family. He was fighting for the life of his nephew, and he even proved that at the end of the movie. He was willing to sacrifice himself.
Ryan, you guys are missing the obvious point. No, this goes back to the Shala Ball example. The reason why she intervened at the end because she saw what Sue Storm was doing for her child, and yet Shala Ball lost her child.
It was guilt.
The power. Yes, it's the mother-child dynamic which rules the movie. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ryan, but that's the only reason why it works in this movie because it's a through line.
It's just a small critique. Once again, it didn't ruin it for me. It's just something that I did not like, but it's fine. Let's keep it moving. Okay, so this is my major critique. It has me really scratching my head. Okay, I get the whole point, the whole reason behind like Sue Storm and Reed Richards telling Galactus to fuck off when he asked for their kid. And it's kind of funny because like Pedro Pascal also did the same thing basically in The Last of Us. He like basically quote unquote saved his daughter even though that would not save the world by doing that. So I thought that was kind of interesting, a little bit funny. So they come back and they tell the world what happened, and rightfully so, the world's pissed off. I personally think there would have been more people outside that Baxter building pissed the fuck off. There were people out there, but I thought there'd be a little bit more because the world is at stake. Then Sue Storm comes out, and to Tom's point, that speech was fucking fantastic. It was a great speech. But
so
wait, I'm almost there. I'm almost at the finish line. But if I was in that crowd, that would have been the start of my villain arc. Because ain't no fucking way everybody in that fucking crowd would have been, yeah, sure, no problem. You mean everybody in the crowd? You mean the entire planet is just going to go, yeah, yes, maybe majority, yes, but not everybody. That was my biggest critique. Ain't no fucking way that not one person was like, no, sacrifice your baby. No, I ain't giving up my life for you. No, that's my major critiques. All right, I'm done. Great movie, by the way. Good movie.
So here's what I would say to that. First of all, when the Herald came down the first time, she basically said, spend this time with your loved ones because you're fixing to die. That's what she said. So everybody, there were some people who were angry and upset that Reed Richards came out and said he asked for our child. And there were plenty of people who said blah, 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 blah. But first of all, you had a whole ass death cult who was worshiping Galactus and waiting for him to come. They wanted to climb the Himalayas.
That's true.
To get his ass there first. So everybody was, and also most people, when you think about it, we live in LA. All of us live in the LA area. You didn't, and as much foofara as there has been for weeks and weeks and weeks about ICE, it wasn't like 2 million people showed up in downtown LA to fight against ICE. So and again, it wasn't world ending, but if a big shiny space chick tells you that some dude's coming to eat your planet, you may or may not believe that these 4 tiny motherfuckers in the Baxter building could save your ass anyway. So I'm going to be chilling. If I can get a discount ticket to Aruba on 828, I'm flying to Aruba, getting lit, whatever. And it ended up, obviously, that they did do it. Reed Richards had saved, Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four had conquered every threat that these people on this planet had seen. And when they came for answers, they didn't come to tear down the Baxter Building because that wouldn't have done shit. None of them could have done anything against Galactus. It was all down to these 4 people. And when she came out and brought that beautiful baby, now if it had been the baby from Superman, you would have had some people like, nah, fuck that baby. But this is a beautiful, blue-eyed white child. And when they found that baby, the mother's
he had blue eyes, was doing some big ass lips. Okay. That baby was half black.
Look.
And I don't know. I know the mama's white, but the father ain't black.
Look.
But Pedro, but he's obviously Latin. He has something, something to add there.
When the mothers, if you look at the faces, as soon as she brought that baby out, because I was looking at it, and I've seen it a couple of times, more than 2 times. When the guy in the coat pulls down his sign, he had a sign.
Yep.
F you, give him the baby. When she walked out with that baby in that absurdly shiny coat, his side started lowering as soon as he saw that baby. And the mothers, no matter what age they were, the little girls, the women in that audience, when they saw Sue come out there holding that baby and said, this is our child, Franklin, it was a wrap. It was like you had me at hello. That whole crowd changed. And then when she said what she said, we're going to do this, we're going to beat him together as family, I was sold. And just like I think you had to believe that a few texts and a 5-second video in Kryptonian turned the entire world against Superman, which I felt was bullshit.
I mean, that aside, because I'm not going to Superman with y'all.
No, I'm just saying. That didn't bother me.
Not one person, that's all I'm saying.
The fact that even though that this was a crowd that was angry, and they were more, I think that they coined it when they said that they're scared, because they were more scared than angry. But this is a world where everyone in that crowd also, no matter what, recognizes that the Fantastic Four have been there time and time and time again. So no matter what, when Sue walked out there with that baby, that is a sign that's like, yo, pause all that shit. Give this woman who has been there for y'all time and time again. They have never let you down. You damn sure better give her the respect of time to hear what she has to say. And after she delivers that speech, it's like, well, I don't know if I really have an argument against that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And I think what you said.
No, argument is fear.
I'm going to give up my baby, but I'm not going to give up this world. And at that point, you have to believe her. You have to say,
I believe her, but
I believe
too many people have been scared and said, "Fuck that! This is the easy way out." That's just the real shit. Yep. It's not rational at all. No, it's a great speech. And
hey, Ryan,
everything was
beautiful. I agree with you? I agree with you?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I was expecting someone to say "fuck that kid" at one point in that crowd. I'm being serious.
I was,
because or someone to say, "Well, what about my fucking kids?" I'm being serious because that's the emotion.
They did do it when Ben was walking down the alley. They had 3 people say, "We got kids too."
Yeah.
Not after the speech.
They did. The sentiment was expressed, but in that moment, it doesn't serve the story to have somebody throw a tomato at Sue and hit the baby.
You mean like a can at Superman?
Huh?
Like a can at Superman?
I mean, Tom,
for
someone who's like
always right after they found out and the world wasn't at risk.
Tom, for someone who's about realism, when you're criticizing Superman, you got to criticize this a little bit.
So this is what I'll say.
No.
I don't know if
Here we go.
I don't know. Seriously. I don't know if I think all of New York would be in front of the Baxter Building. I thought it was a reasonable crowd. It could have been more. It definitely could have been more.
Okay. All right.
What I will tell you is that in a city like New York, I would have expected more people to unalive themselves than would be marching up. Because again, what is you think you're going to convince? They just told you yesterday they ain't giving up their baby. So you think you're going to come and convince them to give your baby to Galactus? And how are you going to do it anyway?
No, they didn't see Galactus. They had no idea of the threat that they were up against at that point.
But they were getting all of these, and Galactus just passed Jupiter. And
that's not what he looked like, though.
Well, that was after. That was after.
Yeah.
She was still caught in the black hole. You
have a being from outer space come down and essentially tell the heroes of your world, the people that you know of, the only superheroes that we know of in this world. We don't know if there are even any other superheroes. We know there's a bunch of wannabe villains, but in this world, the Fantastic Four are the gold standard for what it is to be a hero. And you have a being from outer space come down and say, yo, your world is at an end. Then your heroes go up into space to face this threat. And they come back, baby in hand, and they tell you, with all the confidence that you have in them, they tell you, yo, we tried to talk to this individual and it's a wrap. Shit didn't work. He's coming and we don't know. And when Reed Richards tells the crowd, are we going to be safe? I don't know. That's like, oh shit.
Damn.
That's like a child saying, a 2 or 3 year old to their father saying, Daddy, can you protect me? I don't know. That 2 or 3 year old is going to be shook. You say, hey, my daddy said he can't protect me. You're shook. It's about scope and scale. You know what I'm saying? The father to the 3 year old, to Reed Richards, to the crowd, who looks to him the exact same way as you are a leader, you are heroes, you're the ones that take care of it. And you come back from outer space. You literally went to space. You said, we're going to go up and face this threat. And you come back hat in hand saying, we failed. And we don't know what we're going to do yet. A lot of folks is probably shook. I would think there would be more folks at home doing what the Silver Surfer said do, hugging your families. See, I'm not trying to go down to City Hall to chastise some heroes. I'm hugging my children.
I don't know why
about the end days.
I don't know why Reed Richards even told the truth.
I don't know if the crowd should have been.
Now that is the question I had.
Because the story needed him to do it. Y'all people are acting like this is about how people act. This is how
it's about realism, though. I would have been a lying motherfucker. All right. Oh yeah, man. We're working on it. We're getting there, man. It's gonna happen. Don't worry about it, baby. Yes. We got it, baby.
I would have lied both times.
I would have lied. Left a message on his ring. We went up there, wasn't nobody home. We left a voice message, and then we came back. Because
will we be safe? Yes. Until you're not. I mean,
until you're not. We got us.
I think that, like, beyond the story needing it, I think that this film, it needed Reed to do that, because I think that's the kind of guy that Reed was. Reed didn't have it in him to lie. Even when Sue was trying to hide shit from Sue, it was like, yo, yes, y'all, yes, I do have a plan. It is give the baby up. He could not keep shit from coming out. He's that guy. Like, look, I have to tell you exactly how it is. If he would have lied to me, that would have been an affront to the character that we saw that was so forthright with Sue, someone that he probably should have been lying to about his plans to give up the baby. He's like,
can't lie to her. By the way,
that's scene, like I don't think that Reed had it in to lie.
That scene, because she looked at him, gave him that look, like, motherfucker, you already thought about it.
You already thought about it.
He didn't even say anything. He was already in trouble.
And the look on his face, and she's like, Reed, he can't hide it. He can't hide it.
He can't lie to her.
But
he doesn't have it in him.
The way that scene was written, and when she turned to him and said, sometimes the way you are fucks me up.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, they are married.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say that.
Yeah.
That shit was so goddamn real. So,
you know what? Can I say, you know what? I knew this was going to be a more mature movie when they opened up the fucking movie and she is on the toilet
with the pregnancy
the pregnancy test. I said, and I thought either she's going to the John or she's going to the John and a pregnancy test, because that's the only reason that she would have been there.
We're saying just wait like 12 minutes,
12 seconds,
12 seconds, whatever it was, and I'll go there and everything will be fine. I was like, dude, they are definitely married.
Yes.
And he said that was a very precise time.
Exactly.
Listen, the one thing I will give you, since we're talking about realism, they did not build 75 of them teleportation towers in a week. That was some bullshit. And then I had the same critique over the movie Contact, where they built the big thing and then they built a second one because they felt that maybe they needed a backup one. All of that money, it was going to cost $10 trillion. You had to turn off every light every night.
That was so unrealistic.
You turned off New York to teleport an egg, bitch. How in the fuck is the
what about the people?
What
about the people in the hospital? They're on battery power, hopefully.
A generator.
Bruh,
Look,
that's what I'm
look,
saying. So
look,
I will
there-
give
there-
you that, but one thing I will say is that, again, we're talking about superhero movies. You're talking about fantastic shit. You're also talking about this
And
futuristic
then where
world.
were they gonna move the planet to? And who's
Different-
to
Well,
say
he
that
said
Look,
They said
again,
in a
Outer
habitable
space.
zone. Yeah.
and there was
No, You're gonna move a
receiving
planet to the
teleportation
habitable
pad.
zone. What if there's another planet there? What if the sun there doesn't
He
support
booped-
your planet?
he booped
No,
the
he said it was
spotted out.
a similar sun, and we would be within two whatevers of that.
Two-
So, but
that's a
still,
lot of calculation. But I say, go with it. It's the
It's Reed
fantastic.
Richards.
You know
It's
what?
Reed
No, what?
Richards.
it's
I
Reed
took
Richards.
that as a setup for how they're going to end up in the 616 because I think they're
See,
talking about Earth.
I disagree. I think it's all comes down to Franklin. That's what I
What
think.
do we think about Franklin?
He's evil.
No.
He can be.
No.
He can be.
I'm done.
Well, shit,
After
Reed
Reddit
Richards
too.
in the Ultimate Universe was more evil than Franklin ever was.
Yeah,
We're gonna see him eventually, too, I
Franklin
think.
is the character that at one point created an entire universe and created a whole
In
comic
his
line
playroom.
called the Onslaught. And it was because Reed Richards had gone to Charles Xavier to say, hey, my son's powers are insane off the hook. We're coming home. Shit is in different dimensions. He's playing around with galactic gods. We need you to go into his head and fix this shit for a little while so we can get a grip on it. And that sent Franklin down a path where he rewrote the entire Marvel universe.
He had
The
shit
whole
underneath
thing.
his blanket. He had other worlds underneath his blanket, man.
Yeah.
Like,
It was
dude is just
Yeah.
Wow.
Franklin has literally the power to kill Galactus. It's not a joke. That
He can do whatever he
Franklin
wants.
has
He can literally-
fucking power.
yeah.
He can literally rewrite reality as he sees it. And it's like the Richard kids are two of the most fascinating characters in all of comic. How
yeah.
Galactus bows down to and at one point there was a comic line I can't remember what it was, but Galactus was a herald of Franklin. Galactus was a herald to Franklin. That's how powerful Franklin is. His sister, when she finally comes around, is the only individual on the entire planet that Dr. Doom bows to and respects. He respects the shit out of Valeria. At 5 years old, her intelligence rivaled his. She's the smartest fucking being on the
He's
planet.
his uncle, isn't there, or some shit like that? Or
They
there's-
made him a
he got
official
Godfather
uncle,
or something like
Okay,
that.
I have a question
Oh.
for Tawala and Tom. Considering like Johnny Storm's relationship with Nova in the comics, how do you feel about them using Nova instead of Silver Surfer? That way, you get a female herald, whatever, and Johnny can go.
No,
Google
you know what?
Gaga with
I
her.
thought they were going to. I thought originally when I long ago when I read when I was reading some of the stories that had come from Reddit, and they were talking about it's not gonna be a Silver Surfer. It was gonna be first it was gonna be Frankie Ray, and then they said no, then it was gonna be the Nova character, and so that's why I was surprised when ultimately it was Shala Ball, and that they gave Shala Norrin Rad's story, and I was like, I don't know why you did that. I don't know why you did that, but I get it.
So
This is the 616 universe, so fine. But that was an odd choice for me.
I will say this: they didn't show 828 Norrin Rad, so
No.
it may be that Norrin Rad fathered Shala Ball's daughter and then died, or something
Could it?
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but the other thing, Frankie Ray was an Earthling.
Yes.
That means Galactus would have had to come to Earth, and Frankie sacrifices herself to become a
Different
herald,
universe.
which takes out the entire third
different,
act.
yeah, in the main universe, but you can change the story. The MCU changes shit all the time.
But here's the thing. I don't see how you wouldn't be upset with Frankie Ray being an Earthling and coming as Nova, but you're upset that Silver Surfer in
It's a
this
small
universe
critique.
who is definitely not Norrin Rad, which leaves space for Norrin Rad to
Because
appear.
Silver Surfer's
the
a
real-
much popular character. Why do the lesser popular character, the version of the character? I mean,
Okay.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, you are completely skipping the idea that Johnny Storm having a romantic interest
Okay.
in the Herald was
Okay,
a thing that was a major.
There
part
was
of
like
the plot.
4 horny jokes
It
in
wasn't
the
just
movie.
horny joke. You were ignoring the fact that he chased her into the atmosphere first, which is when she told him what she said. And then when they go out to space, he asks her, he chases her, risking losing his oxygen to find out what she said. It was only those 2 interactions. that gave him the key to unlocking the language.
Yeah, so we just disagree on why he did what he did. I thought he
didn't
did it
do
because
that because he didn't.
he was asked to do. He was asked to do it. Sue said. Sue even said, or Sue or Reed said, like, Johnny, go after him, and he did. Dude, like, this movie's about family. He did it for his fucking family. He did that. I mean, he wasn't going to portray fucking his family because he was horny. If he did what he had to do, that's why he was willing to sacrifice himself.
I think it's more complicated than that.
Seeing his own face in Norin Rad's reflective body.
No, but see, I think Johnny was trying to make it clear that he was more than what people thought of him.
Yeah,
because they were making jokes about him, you know, being interested, calling her his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah,
when he actually had altruistic motives. He was about solving this mystery, and people kept trying to dumb him down as like he just wanted to get in their pants.
And I'm so glad that he was the one that deciphered the language. I'm like, there you go, Johnny. You're not an idiot. Everyone would expect Reed Richards to figure that out. But the fact that Johnny did,
and that's a point that I made with you. This script gave every person in the Fantastic Four clearly defined moments that told us more about who their character was. And not for the least of which reasons, Johnny was willing to sacrifice himself to push. I mean, I don't think he would have
the selfish character.
He was going to push Galactus into that hole. Now, I don't think he could have done it, but he didn't have to because the Silver Surfer.
Well, the thing is this: they were all.
But he was ready to do it.
They were all pushed to their limits. Sue Storm was pushed to the limit.
Absolutely.
Reed Richards definitely was pushed to the limit. He was stretched to the limit. Okay.
Yes.
And so I think Johnny would have died doing it. It just meant that much to him.
Well, I actually thought he was going to go like Nova there.
I thought he was going to go Nova too.
Like when he goes Nova, I mean that he has the power of a small sun. He can be dangerous. Like they've said before in the comics, he could literally obliterate, Earth's atmosphere if he goes too hot.
Okay, the thing that we're not talking about yet is there was a preview in the beginning when Sue is speaking to the world, the UN, and you have all the countries represented except one.
Latveria.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they showed that again when she was asking for plutonium.
Yep.
And we get to the end, the after credit scene, and we have Dr. Doom.
I was happy, but also frustrated.
No, can someone tell me, is he actually there? Sue thinks he's there.
No, he's there.
He's there. He's there.
He's touching his face.
Yeah, he was there.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I was like, I know you can't use Robert Downey Jr. That costs too much fucking money, but I was frustrated. I was like, motherfucker! All right, I'm in. Let's go.
I mean, it's a major in credit cliffhanger. I mean, in credit cliffhangers are supposed to take us to the absolute limit and leave us hanging like, oh shit, I can't believe it's not supposed to go into another 20 minutes of movie.
No, I understand. I get that, but let's not forget how creepy that fucking scene is. You're in your house and some fucking stranger is talking to your child.
And to me, it's amazing that to me, Doom's acknowledgement in the film and absence in the film, only to have him come in the end to see Franklin. To me,
is he like, Doom already at the beginning of the movie?
That Doom is everything that Doom is about. That his reasons for coming to see Franklin. Doom is Doom, and Doom does what Doom wants. You know what I'm saying? And it's to me, I am beyond fascinated to see like, what is it about Franklin that summons Doom into this point? And they've already said that this is not just an end credit scene, that this is yet another scene that's taken straight from the Doomsday film. Just like the end credit scene in Thunderbolts, this scene is a part of the Doom film. So how that scene sets up the very beginning of bringing Fantastic Four and having Doom be this big bad for this film. It's one of those, like, the actions of Doom have always been a mystery in comic books. Why he does the shit that he does, it's always like it's at his whim. He's like, what, I do it because I'm Doom.
And directed by the Russos. Both of those post-credit scenes were directed by.
Couple questions. So, like, where was Doom during this whole thing with Galactus?
Right.
That will probably be answered. Also, I'm going to say this movie is so fucking good. I didn't give a fuck about Doom. That's how good the movie was. I totally forgot about him.
I think to Mo's point, that's one of the differences between these universes, right? Because clearly Doom and Reed didn't go to school together. They weren't rivals. In this universe, Doom is still, I think, and I think this is evidence of Latveria's lack of presence at the UN or whatever. I think Latveria is isolationist in this world.
Yeah.
And I think Doom was still a dictator. It is clear, I don't think the accident happened in the 4 years since Galactus was defeated.
Okay.
I think Doom was Doom, just a dictator of his country.
Now,
And here's the thing. I don't know if any of you saw this. I kind of went down a rabbit hole. Apparently, Doom is obsessed with Franklin because that Doom is already aware of the other universes and needs Wanda to help him create the Doomsday world where he brainwashes everybody and recreates reality in the image that he wants. And so when Franklin resurrects Sue, he's like, got it. I can get this kid to resurrect this Nexus being and that Nexus chick, because we already saw in WandaVision. WandaVision can hex people and change reality. And that's exactly what Doom needs for
the House
Doomsday.
of M. He's that powerful.
What he wants. Oh, it's childhood. What is it? Childhood's End. It's the other. It's not House of M. It's where Doom is God Emperor Doom. And takes them back to like medieval times. Or whatever.
I was just saying how powerful she is. Like,
well, exactly. She can do it, and she is the essential component. He marries. He resurrects her via Franklin. You brought me back. Yes, because I love you. Let's transform the world. And she gets her kids. She gets to be queen of the world. He's running shit. And that sets us up for Doomsday. And then Secret Wars follows on. So that's what I heard. I don't know if that's the way they're going. But if they set those dominoes up like that, awesome. I think I will be completely satisfied with both.
That'd be fantastic.
Fantastic. I mean, this is the matches the after credit scene with Thunderbolt.
That's good.
Because that's where we get Fantastic Four coming to us.
And it's a different ship. It's not the Excelsior.
I think
it has 4 prongs. The ship that comes to our universe has 4.
And there's only 3 in this one.
3 in the movie, and now it's 4 when they're coming to us.
I still think it's a possibility that Reed Richards knows Victor Von Doom, because we don't really know that yet. We don't know if there's a history behind this. So we don't know that, because all we see is this Doom for that like 5 seconds, whatever. So it can still be a.
We don't know what we don't know.
Also, I think, to Tom's point, I think Doom takes the baby, goes to the 616, and that's why the Fantastic Four and the 616 they back for their shit.
That would make sense.
Yes, that would make sense. Yeah.
When you see the end of this film, and all of us are watching this film, waiting for that scene that ties into the Thunderbolts, thinking we're going to see, because even when Shia LaBeouf was saying get the kid and leave, I'm thinking, oh, that's when we see them coming to the Thunderbolts. I'm like, I keep waiting for that moment where we see the ship coming to the Thunderbolts. When it doesn't happen, I'm like, then what drives them to the 616? That, Ryan, that right there, that's it. Doom saying, come with me, child.
Yeah, there has to be an abduction of Franklin at some point. And I think they're setting it up with that scene, that end credit scene.
You acknowledge Reed is well aware of the other universes, acknowledges them. So all of this is fair game. It's not some, where did Doom go with our child? It's like, no, we know another universe. Fine, that's cool. We can get there. Reed is probably already, if he has all that other world, other dimension knowledge at his base, we know for a fact he's been tinkering and thinking about it, and how can he get into it or explore it, maybe sending probes into other dimensions. We don't know, but there are so many different stories about to come into play. Today, there's a story that came out with the actress who plays Sylvie from Loki. And she's saying that she is reported to the set, and that her role in the film is to be a guide for the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, and helping them to find Loki. What that all means, she said, it's just, that's my role in this film. I am guiding the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four, because they must find Loki.
When did
Uh,
they?
And we don't
They know
know
where he is,
about
though?
Doctor Strange 3, how that's going to figure into this
No, but Doctor
multiversal.
Strange 3 comes out far after. Like right now, the
after
only
Avengers
films that are
Doomsday.
coming out are Spider-Man, which comes out in July of next year, and then Doom War, which comes out now in December of next year. Secret Wars comes out in December of 2027. They've both been pushed back. So outside of that, all other films right now are to be determined. So we only have 3 films. We have Spider-Man, Doom, and Secret War, and that's it on the calendar right now. They've actually just after Comic-Con, they just put it out. I think it's on IGN or one of those sites. They just put out like Marvel has removed 2 film slots from the roster, and now there's only 3 films coming out between now and December of 2027. And I'm like, and they said that there's a February film on the calendar in 2027, but that's about it. Next year is just Spider-Man and Doom.
I have one complaint about this movie.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
I had to sit and watch a preview. I thought the movie was about to start. And then I had to sit and watch a preview about Avatar.
Yep.
Oh,
like a featurette.
Ass and fire, because that looks like, I was like, is this a documentary? What is this? This is trash.
It was more than a commercial.
Did you say
sure
ass and fire?
It might as well have
and
been.
fire.
Ass and fire, baby.
I was like, this film looks like absolute ass. What are they doing
I will
with
say
this?
this. I took my 2 sons and we go see a lot of AMC movies. And so whenever Nicole Kidman comes on screen, he's like, okay, finally. And so we sat there together. And when she said, we make movies better, both of us looked at each other and said, we make movies better. And we were sitting down ready for the thing to start. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, why is Avatar on? What is going on? And I wasn't upset, but I was like, don't do
I
this
didn't
to me.
need this.
I was hot. I am not a fan
it's
of
fire,
anything Avatar. I think all that shit is trash, and I don't know why they keep giving this dude this money to
And
do
it's
it.
this year.
Because he's made $5 billion over 2 films.
But it's also,
Allegedly,
he's
Tom,
biting.
and I say allegedly.
Yeah. But he's
I'm
also
an Avatar
biting.
truther. I do not believe that last
Truther.
film hit 2 billion under any circumstance. You cannot be having making millions of dollars in Kamatage or wherever they were showing this film in all these different in all these other places around the country. There were places around the country. It was like selling, doing crazy numbers in Puerto Rico, in Pakistan. I'm like, what the fuck we talking about? They do not have theaters that are showing Avatar like that. No,
Wasn't it like
the international numbers are lies.
No. It was a little bit after that.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. But you know what? You guys are missing
for 6 months though.
You're missing the obvious. Avatar Aries is a direct rip of the last Airbender.
You said Avatar Aries.
That's what it is. Because they have the red, Tron Aries. Yeah. They got the fire people. They got the water people. Come on.
The land.
Captain Planet. Yeah.
It's probably going to be another 3-hour movie. There's fewer theaters than there were because theaters have been closing up. Whatever. I was so annoyed. I didn't know it was coming out at the end of this year. I thought it was coming out next year. But, to each his own.
How do you feel about the Odyssey trailer? Because
look, me personally, and I was laughing about this when I was discussing it with on Later with Mo Kelly. Mo didn't know there was a trailer out, and I was like, "Why in ancient Greece are they talking like paisans in Brooklyn? Why is John Bernthal? So you want to know about Odysseus, huh?
No, he was
know about that?
Hey, Odysseus.
He still sounded like the Punisher. He didn't
He
even
does.
fucking
I'm like, why is
different.
the Punisher in ancient Greece talking like that?
I was ready to write that motherfucker off after Tenet. Now I'll give him credit for Oppenheimer. I enjoyed Oppenheimer, but I am completely over this narcissistic, self-absorbed.
There is no Christopher Nolan slander which will be allowed here.
Problem with that.
Slander, 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 slander.
I'm surprised.
Dark Knight Rises. What?
Okay, so Mo always says that
Don't know who you're talking to.
is it the night stuff that never worked?
M. Night Shyamalan.
No.
Yes.
No, the theme of like when it comes to the night kind of
Oh, from like medieval times.
Yeah.
Yes, those. Yeah, the King Arthur movies never work.
the Greeks stuff just is not always successful. And it's not I think the only one that was kind of similar to where it actually did work, and I don't know about the numbers, was Troy. But
Well, Gladiator did well.
okay, but to be
Well,
fair,
I mean, that's Rome, and it wasn't mythology.
if I
That's true.
were
It's supposed to be a historical.
the
adjacent
only
drama.
reason why you watch Troy is because of Brad Pitt.
Oh, I didn't
Well,
watch
sure.
Troy.
I haven't seen
Neither
it,
did
No.
I. Yeah,
No.
but I knew that's why
As a
people were
woman,
going to it.
I didn't watch it for
That is
Helen
the
either.
only reason why
Right.
we watch
I don't even know
Troy
who Helen
is
was
because
in
of
that
Brad
movie.
Right.
Pitt. But I'm not. But I am fascinated that he would take a stab at this, because I just don't see how any of these are successful, and it has great stories. I just
Look, I'll say this though.
Greeks
I'll say this for him.
Greek mythology is hard to explain.
No, it is.
Clash of the
but-
Titans, baby.
But Liz, there's
There's just
something
too
to
many
be said
characters.
for the fact of the genius. This had some of the most genius marketing I've
does.
ever seen.
Yeah.
They literally put all of the IMAX showings on sale a year in advance, and I kid you not when I say every single IMAX show for when this film debuts is all sold out. This film has already made over 100 million
It
first
has
weekend
every
out.
star
coming out.
ever in this movie.
That's right.
I don't know what it is about it, but
The Punisher,
something
baby.
about Christopher Nolan. The film is already sold out opening weekend.
And you got to
Already
remember,
sold out.
Christopher Nolan movies, they are like, especially now, post Oppenheimer and Interstellar, they are Oscar vehicles for people in them.
Absolutely.
But to
And
be fair,
again,
who hasn't
between
read that movie
between
though?
Oppenheimer and Sinners, if you have a film by somebody who's Christopher Nolan, because he only shoots in IMAX, and you have the opportunity to see it in IMAX, you're gonna go see it because you're a fan of Christopher Nolan. Because some of his movies are a bit impenetrable. He definitely has like an M. Night Shyamalan thing of, I'm going to be obtuse and you're going to love it. And people have seemed to love it more than they loved M. Night Shyamalan. But I completely buy that the IMAX showings are sold out. I do. I will not be one of the people clamoring to get a seat for it.
Right.
But
No.
I will eventually see this, because this is just, I saw Oppenheimer because we are blessed in Los Angeles to have 2 real IMAX theaters. And the one that doesn't charge $30 for parking unless you already prepaid your ticket was where I went to the Universal City to see it. And it was impressive. I also saw Sinners there because Ryan Coogler told me I needed to see Sinners on a real IMAX screen. I kind of went for it on that, but it was my 4th time seeing the movie, so I didn't really give a fuck. But I buy it. The Odyssey is not going to do it for me.
See, and I wonder about this because I feel like everyone has read the Iliad, but Odyssey is one of those things that every 9th grader is probably have read.
Yeah.
So
I read it.
not to say that people are not unfamiliar with the story. I just wonder if you can make this as simple as possible, simply because there are a bazillion characters. Just like I've said this before here, Percy Jackson's story should, in my mind, should have done a lot better, because the books are amazing, but it is just so difficult to put this stuff on screen, because with Greek mythology, there are so many freaking characters. And it's so hard to be like, okay, so who's the daughter of this, and this is the sister of that, and this, it's too much. And it's the same. I feel like the Odyssey is more complex when it comes to characters than the Iliad. So how do you water this down to make it more, entertaining?
You know how you do it? You do it with people talking in Brooklyn accents.
Brooklyn accents, apparently.
Well, what's the difference? I mean,
I
you
went
got
down to
usually
get
British.
a cannoli, and I
Well,
found
look.
this siren, and she told me to jump off of the ship. But like, it went deaf in my ear because
But we don't know
Biddy
what
Boom
the
hit me that
actual
time when I
word.
was at the
But
Bada
I'm
Bing
saying we
Club.
usually get a British accent for
That's true.
Yes, for
Romans
I
and
know, and you
Greeks.
know what?
Yeah.
None of this stuff works. I'm like,
No.
maybe it's just me. I'm just not a fan. I don't like them. I don't watch them. I'm okay.
Now, I will
I'm
tell you this.
I'm okay.
If you are not watching the second season of Sandman, because we're at an hour and 14 minutes on a movie that none of us disagree about. Sandman does a very good job with a basically a 1.5 episode arc that deals with the Orpheus myth, Orpheus and Eurydice. And so Morpheus is the father of Orpheus, and because Orpheus loses Eurydice dies, he goes down to the underworld and sings for Hades and Persephone. And they're so enthralled by his song, they agree to let Eurydice come as long as he does not look behind him to see her. She was supposed to let the light of the sun hit her before he could see her. And they get to the opening, and the opening is in the distance, and she says something, and he turns around, and she's snatched from him. And then subsequently, because death said in order for you to go to the realm of the dead, you can't die. And so she took the ability for him to die. So even though he gets mutilated, he just lives and lives and lives and lives for thousands of years as an oracle. And they do that in 1.5 episodes of Sandman. And because it's just Hades, Persephone, the Fates, and Orpheus and Eurydice, it's digestible. I don't care to see the Odyssey story in 3 hours.
Okay, so let me say something too. There's two things. I know I said about Percy Jackson, but I really am feeling like more when you have given kids like a more digestible, and people have grown up on this more digestible version of Greek mythology. Combine that with there's a thing like my daughter's excited to see it, and I'm really kind of stunned because she's excited because there is now a YouTube channel, and don't quote me, I'd have to ask her, that does rap songs of all of the Odyssey and the Iliad and telling the extreme and telling all of the different stories. Yes. And so she is gung ho on listening to all of this to where she's like, I would now want to where she went. I've been trying to get her to really read the Iliad, but I know she's a little young. But she's was like, let's go buy this. And I'm like, we have it already at the back. We already have, I got a bazillion books. So just go to the bookshelf and pull it up. And so she started to get into the Iliad. And then I was like, well, if you're going to read the Iliad, then you read the Odyssey first. But anyway, point is, they really got kids into Homer in a new way that Percy was getting into it. So I'm curious to see if we could actually get the Odyssey, more people to get to the theaters who actually may be more familiar. Personally, I'd rather see the Iliad. To see the Iliad in IMAX with the battle scene, that would be amazing. But anyway.
And see, I don't know if you're going to get one that's going to be digestible, Dr. Liz, in the way that you would hope, if only because Christopher Nolan doesn't do simple.
That's fair.
No.
I mean, from Memento, he's always had complex ideas. And I thought actually The Dark Knight was beneath him. That's what he wanted to do as a filmmaker. And we got to see more of that with Oppenheimer and Interstellar, where he's reaching in these big ideas and these big movies. And that's why I do like him, but he's never done simple.
I agree with you. I'm just saying there's something.
Tenet,
Yeah. No, I mean,
You obviously don't know how Nolan likes to direct.
Yeah.
it is.
You fight like a young man.
See, and this is why I'm saying, because Odyssey doesn't have enough fighting. So, like, if you had the Iliad, we get bloodiness, we'd get the gore, we get the complexity of the.
Which one is selling sharply? Charybdis.
You're speaking another language to me, man.
No, Scylla and Charybdis are the two beasts that are right at Gibraltar, and I want to say that's the Iliad because
that's what I thought.
It could be okay. To Liz's point, the Odyssey is like a 3-pronged story. Odysseus is trying to get back home. and Penelope and Telemachus are trying to hold shit together at the crib. So people are trying to jump on Penelope, and she's like, no, I'm waiting for my husband. And Telemachus is the heir, and da 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 da. So there's all this stuff going on, but it's not like 300, where you've got like these battles. It's like wandering and political intrigue, and then he comes back, and finally there's some conflict. But it's just, again, Christopher Nolan is Christopher Nolan, right? So he's going to do what he's going to do, and they're going to keep giving him money because, you know, most of his movies make money. And
I mean, I know
as
that
long as John David Washington isn't in this, I'm fine.
Because see, and I know that Tawala liked the movie, but I found it to be extremely boring until the end. But this is what I think Odyssey is going to fall into,
Which
which
movie?
was the live action of the live action of the How to Train a Dragon. How to Train a Dragon was extremely boring. Fell asleep. Me, the kids fell asleep. My daughter's over here who loves the movie was snoring until I woke her up to the end, and I'm like, "You missed the best part."
Right.
No, and you know what's wild is me and my kids, you know, who when that film hit, they were probably closer to your kids' ages. And
the animated movie.
Yeah, when the first animated movie came out, my kids were so when they saw it, you know, now, you know, my son 19, he's like, dude, that was every single thing was supposed to be. Both him and my daughter, they walked out loving it. I was like surprised at how good it was because I don't remember liking the animated film. I remember taking them to go see it and like, okay, this is yet another movie I'm taking them to go see. But
with a lot of dialogue, and then you get to and then you're like, okay, finally we're getting to the point. And
I don't know. I like the stuff in between. I liked it. I liked the whole him sneaking off and learning about the dragons and all that. And I love the story between him and his dad. Like there was so much that I don't know. I walked out of like, wow, this is. And I didn't like I said, I don't remember the movie. I saw it the one time when I took them to go see it, and they've watched it a bunch of times, you know, on DVD or whatever. But I don't remember it like that. So when I went to go see it, I was like, has it always been like this? And they were like, yeah, this is pretty much the same story. You know, it's just live action. So but I walked out of like, dude, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this because it was really pleasantly a big surprise. I don't know. And both of us took our kids and our kids, that's wild that they had such a different take on it because your kids, I mean, your daughter, she had to have been like a baby when it came out.
She wasn't.
Originally.
I don't think she was alive.
Yeah, that's what my kids were real young and grew up with it.
Yeah, and when my husband was like, "Okay, I'm going to watch it," and I was like, "I know you need to stop because he's not a night owl," and then he fell asleep midpoint. I was like, "I know you're not," because it drags, and that's essentially my point. Is I'm not sure, and just as Mo is saying, it's going to be complicated. Who knows? It'll be, you know, it'll get nominated for something. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Scylla and Charybdis are in the Odyssey.
Yeah. I know we are way over and our time is out of control. I know folks wanted us to get into Ironheart. Ironheart's got to wait again. This coming Friday, we get the first 3 episodes of Eyes of Wakanda. They've actually moved the series up to August 1st. So we get that on Friday so we can come back together again, see what we think about Eyes of Wakanda and possibly throw in Ironheart, which I think Ironheart is a sleeper. I think it is a sleeper series, and I think folks best not sleep on Ironheart.
Wait a second, it's one of the highest rated in.
No, I'm just saying, just for anyone watching, anyone who's wanting us to get it, just before we get to it, don't sleep on Ironheart. Ironheart is quite possibly one of the most important series that we've had of these MCU series for what happens in it.
Yes.
And what happens in it, it speaks volumes to the future of the MCU. When you talk about a major event happening, don't sleep on Ironheart. All right, we will get to Ironheart and so much more, but we're going to have to do that next week because
Robert has a question for me. I actually looked at the Ted Lasso. I'm surprised that they're making another Ted Lasso. I thought it ended when it should have ended. But he's trying to get hit to my Apple TV Plus thing. But Apple TV Plus just ended a series that I am absolutely in love with, and it's about golf. And I thought it was really a great story. If you guys, even if you're not interested in golf, I think you should really, really stick. I think you would really, really love it. I mean, the last episode definitely had me at my heartstrings, because it's also, again, one of these conversations about fathers and sons. The fathers and the sons, man, y'all have problems. But it's a really good show.
All right. Then we'll get with stick to next time. Till then, take us out, Dr. Liz.
Good night, everyone.
Mo Kelly.
Multipass.
McBain.
You have to set an example, leaving in the face of stupidity. Now, everybody that reads comic books knows that Kirby Silver Surfer is the only true Silver Surfer. Now, am I right or wrong?
You're right, sir.
All right, get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Which movie is that again?
Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide. Yep.
That's
Okay.
Denzel Washington.
Yep.
I gotta say
remember
nothing
that
else.
scene. I remember that scene. Tom.
Where is my Galactus suit?
Excelsior.